I'm Leslie.
And I'm Shelly.
And we're Sisters in Ebert. Welcome back for another Movie Monday.
Yes, it's a fun one. We're going on a race.
On a rat race.
A rat race.
And I open up my notes with a screw up.
Oh no.
Yeah, because
you ruined it already.
Well, yeah. Well, there's a fun little song. I didn't really put that in the note, getting everybody going. I jumped right to where we're at the hotel lobby desk.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that Danielle, the front desk clerk, was from SNL, but I was wrong. I thought she was Julia Sweeney, and she is not.
Oh, well.
That was my first note.
Great.
I'm glad I looked it up.
We're off to a great start. I know this one came out 2001. Okay, we saw this in the movie theater.
In the movie theater. So, would you because this was during the summer movie, so would you classify it as a summer movie?
Was it the summer movie?
It was.
Yeah, I guess it would have been.
It was, but
It was a day out.
It was a day out,
movies.
Yeah.
I guess it kind
of... I would count...
Okay, we're going to count this. The summer of movies. But a fun outing. Something we wanted to see. Yes,
we wanted to see. It was a new movie. And Mom, I think, was there too.
Yeah.
She was probably on vacation.
Yeah, had the day off.
Yeah, and a lot of times, because we didn't use air conditioning, we would go to the movies to get out of the heat.
This was before movies cost $1 million.
Here to find out, we had air conditioning. We just wouldn't use it.
We just wanted to go to the movies a lot, okay?
Yeah. Listen,
yes.
I can't help all the logic. So.
Yeah, no, but so we went to the movies a lot. That was a new movie theater had opened.
Yeah,
close
it was
by.
really nice. It was the first time we had now it's kind of run down, but at the time when it opened, it was super nice, stadium seating. Yeah, it wasn't and the big chairs with it wasn't
it was nice for the times.
For the times.
Yes. Yeah. And so we were excited to go see this one.
I think the chairs kind of leaned back a little bit. That was a big deal. Yeah.
This was fun. A fun outing for the family.
Yes, it was a good time. So we open up with Nick. I thought his name was Steve, but I made that up.
A whole lot of problems going in here.
I take a lot of liberties. He's disputing charges with the front desk for an adult film.
Yes, they're accusing him that he watched 11 times.
11 times, I think. Yeah, 11 times. You turn on the Grinch then for 10 minutes and then went back to...
He's like, no, that wasn't me. I was at a bachelor party all night. I wasn't in my room. I wasn't watching this. And they're like, no, you did. And there's this horrified family behind them
So then we cut to our next character, Owen, who is an NFL ref, and I put he's a bonehead.
This is Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yeah, Cuba, and he's at the hotel or at the hotel bar.
Mm-hmm. And, it's a hotel and casino.
Yeah, it's in Vegas.
We're in Vegas.
Yep. And, it comes on that, hey, aren't you that bonehead from last week?
That ref from the football game.
And did you look, you probably did because you do all the movie trivia. Did you see this was a real thing?
Yes, it was based on a real scenario.
Canadian Football League.
Yeah, so the ref flipped the coin for the coin toss. And it landed on heads or whatever.
But he picked it up
he
too
said,
quick.
It's tails. And they were like, wait, no, it's not. All the players.
Yeah, and he picked it up too fast where they couldn't even check it.
And then, so they're all yelling. He's throwing out players and, blowing his whistle. And it's this huge controversy. So everybody's recognizing him now you're that guy.
Uh-huh. So then we cut to our next players. I called them tongue ring the whole time. But I looked it up. It's Blaine and Dwayne.
Oh, they're brothers.
They're brothers.
It's
Seth
Green
and the other guy.
And some guy.
The guy that looks like Jeff Ross, but not.
Yeah, so he has
a
tongue piercing that he did himself.
Yes. It's all infected.
Horribly infected. He's like, hello. And he's like, better. It looks better.
Yeah.
But he cannot talk now, so... You can't understand a word this guy is saying the whole
But
movie.
You start to.
You start to, yes. You start to.
But that, I guess, shows what a good actor he is.
Yes. It was funny. It was a funny aspect.
Funny, yeah. They decided to do a fake slip and fall.
Yeah,
to sue the hotel.
Yeah, to sue the casino.
But this lady behind them falls instead, and Gloria Allred's waiting at the bottom, the attorney, too. Yeah.
She's like, I saw the whole thing. You're going to make millions from this.
So next we cut to our next player, Whoopi Goldberg's character. I didn't get her Vera.
Yes.
I did get her name. And then she's meeting her birth daughter, who she gave up for adoption because her psychic said she needed her.
And so they're meeting in the hotel.
Yeah.
This is a whole ensemble cast. Yep. If you're not picking up, this is an ensemble
It's a lot of
cast.
big names in this movie. We cut to John Lovitz's family.
I love him so much.
Super cheap. Here
on their family vacation.
Yeah, they don't want to pay. He doesn't want to pay for a bellhop. So
they're checking in, and they're all lugging their suitcases. They've got a son and a daughter.
He sneaks off to go gambling. His wife's like, "You're not going to go gambling, are you?" And no. Yeah.
The kids like bump into each other. He's like, "Honey, the kids need you." And runs out.
Which typical
dad.
So we cut back to Nick, and he's leaving his his friend's bachelor party early. He doesn't break rules.
Yeah, he's got to get back to Chicago.
Because they're like, he says that a lot, Chicago.
I'm from Chicago.
Yeah, like he's this innocent, like Chicago's this small town.
Yeah.
Okay. So he doesn't break the rules because his friend's like, well, you're still holding out to be attorney general someday or whatever, but whatever. Okay, so everyone winds up in the casino doing slots somehow, like all of our ensemble. I put and they all like get this special like token when they win. Yeah, they each win, but the special token. And I put very much Michael Scott is Willy Wonka with his golden tickets. Like they all just get it at once. Like
and like when you're gambling, like you throw stuff in like a bucket.
Yeah,
like, you're not paying attention. Like they all notice it. Like this is different than a quarter.
Yeah,
but it's very similar to a quarter.
Because like now we all have like if you go to a casino,
it's digital.
Yeah, but back then it was still quarters.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But so it says, like, see guest services.
Yeah, you have to go to guest services. And even guest services doesn't know about it.
They're like, oh, that's up in this suite.
You have to go to this, what is it, like a reception.
Yeah, reception they called it.
Yeah.
And I would immediately be thinking, this is like a timeshare.
That's what I thought. Like, this is a timeshare.
I would not be going.
And even, like, Whoopi Goldberg's character is very gullible in this movie, and her daughter's like, it sounds like a scam. Ooh, a scam! She's ready to go hear about it. Well, tell me about it. Like, anytime anybody's offering her anything, oh, okay. Okay. So, then we enter Mr. Bean.
Mr. Bean,
which was Mother's favorite.
So they're all going up to the suite now. They're curious. They want to see what this is all about.
Couldn't hurt,
so they go up, and so he wanders in. I am the winner. I win.
Enrico. You might think it's a girl's name, but it's not. I'm a boy. And he's like, I didn't think Enrico was a girl.
They're all looking at him like, this guy is weird. He's like, look how beautiful it is. He's just gushing about everything.
And he's like going to the food. Cock doggies. Yes. Cocktail wieners.
Mom's cackling in the movie theater next to us.
Our mother, to her, all right, no offense, Mom. The height of humor to her is Mr. Bean.
Yeah, she loves a good physical comedy. If someone's gonna fall down, if someone's gonna trip, if someone's gonna be over the top, that's what she wants.
That's what she wants.
Mr. Bean is that, and he's not playing Mr. Bean in this. He's Enrico, but he's got a common character.
And they said, I looked it up later. I was just reading facts about the movie, and they said that like this is the Italian version of Mr. Bean.
Yes.
Yeah. So, John Cleese enters.
Another John Cleese film. 2 in a row.
Aren't you all lucky? He comes in and says, "There's a meteor coming." And then you all need to. I only have enough in the bunker for each.
We're gonna go in a bunker
and repopulate the earth.
And they're all like,
"What?" He's like, "Just kidding." Yeah. So it was a joke. He's the owner of the hotel and casino.
So they're in Vegas, just like he ended up at the end of George of the Jungle. So Ape has become the owner. He's evolved into the owner.
It's good to see when people make good. He's the owner. Okay, and it's at this point that we see they're being watched through a two-way mirror
by a whole group of men. Yeah, they're all watching.
I put high stakes gamblers because they are like taking notes and watching everybody.
All of them carefully.
So they explain that they're in this group. They're each given this key, and that there is $2 million.
$2 million
in a locker in Silver City, New Mexico.
And the keys all open the same locker.
Right.
whoever gets there first gets to keep the $2 million.
No questions asked.
Go.
Yeah. And he's like,
and they're all like,
go. Everybody's well, because they got non-disclosure things to sign and things
so
like
it's
that.
This whole
and they're like, well, wait, what are the rules? There are no rules. Go.
He's just trying to get it around.
And everybody's just saying they're like, this is a scam, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's like, no, go. And he's like, well, it's a race, and so far you're all losing because you're all here. But Mr. like
it's Nick,
yeah, it's whatever his last name is. It's Nick. Yeah, he's winning because he's closest to the door.
Go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you've now been racing for 45 seconds.
Yeah, and
I'm all just like dumbfounded, like we can't do this.
My note here is eccentric.
Yes.
Eccentric.
He is very eccentric. They all are eccentric, but he is.
And I put no one moves. Steve closest to the door, so he's winning.
Steve.
Yeah. That's the last.
Nick.
It's Nick.
Nick is closest to the door.
He looked like a Steve to me. Everyone goes nuts to start the race.
Yeah, so like they're all like, we're not gonna go for it. And then slowly they're like, I'm gonna take the steps.
Yeah, John Lovitz is like, my
elevator.
room's only 2 floors down. I'm gonna take the steps. Then Cuba Gooding's like,
sure, I will too. And then they all start booking it down these steps. They're like, we're going for this $2 million.
Yeah. So then we cut to like John Cleese, and they're like, he's explaining that it's like a horse race with humans. You know, they can cheat, they can think, they can. You know.
So all of them. So the keys that they are carrying for the locker have a tracker in them,
so they can see where they are.
So the gamblers are watching to see where they are at which point on the map, and who they are betting on who they think is going to win, and then so they'll win big. So all these men are just like gambling. This high stakes money and having fun watching these people race for $2 million, which is apparently nothing for them.
Yeah. John Lovitz gets to his room and he lies to his family about leaving to go get a job. Like he's supposed to be like this guy who like can't ever like commit to a responsible career.
He's just always looking for the next best thing
and the next like scheme. And then they want to come along though.
Yeah, they're like, this is our family vacation,
and we didn't even want to come down here for say Frieden or David Copperfield. You wanted to come for David Copperfield.
Yeah, they're like, we're all going, and he's just trying like, oh, let's go.
Because now he's got 2 kids and a wife to haul along going at the speed of smell. So, as they're watching, Mr. Bean's in the lead, Enrico, and I saw nowhere stops in the lobby and starts sleeping. Like he's a narcoleptic.
I'm winning.
Yeah. And then the 2 guys are like, I bet on him, and they're like, well, all bets are locked in. You know, like.
Yes, they're watching on the security camera, then just sleeping away.
So everyone keeps coming up with I forget his name. Owen. It's Owen. Because I kept writing Cuba. So Owen, everyone that he comes into contact with apparently bet on his NFL game.
Yeah,
they're all very angry.
You're in Vegas, so there's a lot of gamblers around.
And even Whoopi was like, "Oh, my friend's husband lost $800 because of you." You know, like. And then but I did I was like, that's weird that everybody got bet. I was like, but it's Vegas, it's a gambling town. So everyone's buying tickets to Albuquerque, and then Whoopi's daughter is able to secure a private plane. Mm-hmm. She's got her own pretty big cosmetics business, it seems like.
She's well off. She's
made
a name for herself.
It's teetery, like it's shaky. You know, she seems like she's just on the edge of like
she's
losing
stressed.
it all.
Yeah, she's got a lot of anxiety.
The brothers Dwayne and Blaine, they mess with the control tower.
Yeah, they're like, they couldn't get tickets.
No,
right? The flight was sold out.
So they're like, and there wasn't another one till like the next day or
they're like, well, if we can't fly, no one can
one's gonna fly.
So they decided to mess with the control tower, and all the airport shuts down.
Yeah, because they were just gonna mess with it, and then it wrecks their car though too.
Yeah, it falls on their car, so they can't even drive there now.
So all flights are frozen. Everyone goes to get rental cars now at this point.
Except Nick has been, he's like, I'm not doing this.
He's the only one who said he's not doing it and meant that he's not doing it.
I'm level-headed. I'm not going
I don't take risks.
Yeah, he's like meandering through the hotel as he's leaving, holding doors so people take your time.
Yeah.
So then he ends up chatting with this girl at the hotel, at the airport bar. Mm-hmm. And he's like,
shall I buy you a drink? And she's like, oh, I can't, I'm flying. And he's like, oh, well, loosen you up. No, I'm a pilot, I'm not flying.
But so then he realizes, like, that since she's a helicopter pilot, they're not flying on the
Because
same...
she's like, well, I have to go. My flight's going. And he's like, well, didn't you hear the whole airport shut down?
Yeah,
She's
we're grounded.
like, no. That's for,
That's for planes.
And she's like, choppers are different. Yeah.
So he's like, wait, nobody else can fly.
Yeah.
But I can fly.
Yeah.
So he brings her into this scheme with him. What's her name? I forget her name. I'm not good with names.
Tracy.
Tracy.
Yeah. I was like, I did write it down. Her real name is Amy Smart, so I was calling her that for a while.
Yes.
Okay. So then we cut to Cuba Gooding, who is in the same cab that he took to the airport, but the cabbie realized now who he was.
Yes.
So he's mad because he lost money on the game, too.
So he gets back in the cab. He's like, I know how to get you here.
Yes.
So he drives him off, thinking that he's driving him to Silver City.
So now we cut to the first side bet, which are the highlight of the film to me.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny.
And the guy is like, what was it? Coconut.
Yeah, so they have chocolate. We're back in the hotel suite.
A giant box of like assorted chocolates.
Yeah, they take one bite. It's coconut, and then I had coconut, and he's the winner. They give him a big wad of money.
Yeah.
They're all doing these like random
bets,
little bets, which are like the casino games of my dreams.
Yes,
and I would love to play. Like, yes, I'll bet money on
Vegas Vacation.
Yes, in Vegas Vacation.
We should add that to the list.
We should. That's a good movie. Good point.
Yeah. So okay. And then we cut to John Lovett's family again, and I didn't remember this happening so early in the film, but it did. The little girl hour is already asking to pull over because she's prairie dogging.
Yeah, she's got to go to the bathroom, and John Lovett is like, "Well, what's prairie dogging?"
Yeah. Well, he's like, "Well, son, find she says she has to go to the bathroom, and then he's like, son, find a jar." And his wife's like, "Girls don't pee in jars. Find a jar and a funnel." And, and then she's like, "It's number 2." And she's like, "I'm prairie dogging back here." You know, when a prairie dog sticks his head out of the hole.
In and out of the hole. And both the parents are like, oh.
And I remember that.
Yes.
Clear as day.
Yeah. And we were cracking up in the theater for that one.
Okay, so then we see the daughter hanging out of the window.
I hate you!
Now, he's pulled over by a cop and immediately in the next scene, and I didn't notice this when we first watched it, but I noticed it this time that the other cop is back wiping down the car.
Yeah, so
cleaning the car.
Yeah, so they are responsible for that one.
Yeah.
Did you see them do like, how fast was I going?
Yeah.
Like something like
a John Lovett scene. Oh, and the whole thing, they were talking about how they wouldn't drive a VW, like, because they were offered the VW for a rental car, and they wouldn't drive it because, the Nazis created the VW. So, they're very anti-Nazi. They're a Jewish family and very anti-Nazi. Then we cut to Cuba. The cabbie leaves him in the middle of the desert with no shoes and no pants.
Yeah.
And I said, that's a Vegas thing to do, too. Just leave you in the desert. Next, we cut to Kathy Bates, who makes our first, a cameo.
Star-studded cameo here. She's in it for 2 minutes.
2 minutes. And she's selling squirrels on the side of the side road. She offers them a shortcut.
It's Vera.
And her daughter.
Whatever her daughter's name is.
Yeah, I never caught her daughter's
name. I don't
name.
think it was that important.
No. And the daughter's very busy. No, we don't want any squirrels. And Vera's like, oh, squirrels.
Tell me some more about this. How much are they?
Yeah. So she's like, well, you know what? I'll give you my shortcut anyways, even though you didn't give us any squirrel, or you didn't buy
a squirrel.
You should have bought me. And then she gives them a free bag of peanuts too, just in case they see some squirrels.
Yeah. Vera's, her daughter's like, let's get out of here.
Yeah, this woman's nuts.
We're in a race. Let's go. So she gives them the shortcut, and they head off.
And then it's very specific, 1.8 miles down the road, you're going to hit this.
To the yellow sign, you're going to do this.
Yeah. So next day, we cut back to John Lovett's family, and we see a sign for the Barbie Museum.
And his daughter is like, a Barbie Museum! We have to go, please! And then the mom is like, the kids need to stop.
And he's like, son, you don't want to go to it, but I'll go anywhere. I'm going nuts back here,
And of course, he doesn't want to stop racing, so he's like, no, we're not doing. They're fighting over the steering wheel, veering all over.
So they get to the Barbie Museum, and it is actually Klaus Barbie, who is a Nazi.
And they're just standing there on the tour.
Yeah, like museum. They can't get off the tour, so
they're just horrified.
Leave the tour, and the guys are like, "You're leaving already?" You know, the tour guys are like,
"Yeah." They're like, "Oh no, it's great.
Yeah, we just gotta go a gift shop."
Yeah. Next time, honey. Next time, I promise. They're rushing out.
So in the meantime, Dwayne and Blaine saw their car parked outside the Barbie Museum, so they mess with the car.
Oh.
The family's car.
Yes, because they had rented it ahead of them. They couldn't get a rental.
Yeah.
So
they mess with their car, and they get out, and their car won't start, and they're stuck at this Nazi museum.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So they stole Hitler's Benz.
Yes, they've got Hitler's car that they've stolen now, and they're driving it down the road.
Which that must be the crown jewel of this museum, because how did that little museum get Hitler's Mercedes-Benz? So, I mean, I'm sure he probably had more than one. I don't know, but I didn't get into that side of World War II knowledge. But so now we go to Tracy, who just wants to stop in on her boyfriend really quick in the helicopter. And
they're just like, "Oh yeah, we're making good time. We'll just cruise over here to this residential neighborhood in the chopper."
It's still in a desert setting, though.
Yes.
Her boyfriend's Dean Cain. And he's cheating on her with his old girlfriend.
Yeah.
And, there's a helicopter car chase because she starts like
attacking
his
him.
Truck. Yeah. And so he jumps in the truck to get it away from her. So she stops dropping stuff on his truck from the helicopter, and she's chasing him in the helicopter.
Yeah, it's this whole interesting scene that she is going bananas.
Now we cut to Cuba, who finds a rest stop. He had ripped his shirt up and tied it to his feet as like a makeshift shoe.
He's parched.
Yeah.
He's wandering the desert all this time.
He sees a bus trip that's waiting outside, and they're waiting for their bus driver, and it's he takes the driver's uniform in the bathroom. He makes it seem like his wife is in labor with a baby.
He needs his hat. He needs everything.
Why does he need his hat, Shell?
For her
vagina. Because Rosie was talking about, like, I need your jacket for the placenta, for the fluids.
The driver's just horrified. Yeah. Sure. Why do you need my hat?
For her vagina.
So he throws on this uniform and is quick, like, let's go on the bus, everybody. Back home. Now, there's a few women standing outside.
Yeah, and that's all we see so far. Then we go to Mr. Bean finally wakes up. And he's running after the kid, and running after kids. Or he's up and running, and then
he wakes up.
Kids think he's dead because they're like, "Hey, Mister!"
They're just standing there staring at him in the lobby.
That's what it is. Yeah. So he's up and running. He's going. I'm race. It's a race.
He runs out. And gets hit by a car.
And Gloria Allred's there again, ambulance chasing the whole time in Vegas.
Yeah. So the driver of the car is Newman. I don't know.
Wayne Knight.
Wayne Knight.
Also from Jumanji. Jurassic Park.
Yes.
But Newman from Seinfeld.
So he hits him with a car. He's driving. It's
like a transport van?
Yeah, Lifeline vehicle where they're transporting organs, things like that. So he's quickly driving, and he hits Enrico, and of course, and he sees like, oh gosh, I'm gonna get in trouble, and he gets Enrico up and says, oh, you're looking for a ride? I'll give you a ride. Get in the car. And he's quick trying to get away from the scene. So he's now driving Enrico to get to his place.
Yeah. And we cut back to Dwayne and Blaine, the brothers, who are they were going to split up, but they realized they only have one key. So they decided.
We only got one key. We only got one key. So we're in this movie. They remake this movie and we get cast in it. I'm going to be Mr. Tongue-Piercing.
Okay. Yeah, so they decide to make a copy of the key, but then the guy who's copying the key steals the original. And
because they're talking about, we just have to get to Silver City, New Mexico. There's this locker.
And we gotta be discreet about it,
because there's $2 million at stake. And they tell the whole thing. Yeah. So this guy steals the key.
Yep. We cut back to Whoopi and her daughter at their shortcut.
Oh, it's checking out.
Yeah,
oh, look,
1.8 exactly.
Squirrel lady knew what she was doing.
Yeah. And then you get to, they're like going off like some terrain, and it says, "You should have bought a squirrel." And then they just
fly over this ravine on top of all these other cars that are parked.
20 other cars.
Just all piled on top of each other. And like a skeleton falls out holding the squirrel nuts. And they're like, So clearly Kathy Bates is scorned by many people who have not bought squirrels. They don't want to buy her
squirrels. Well, the one that could do the tricks wasn't for sale, so...
I mean, what's the point?
Yeah. Okay. So we cut back to Cuba Gooding Jr. driving the bus, and here it's a Lucy convention bus. They're going to an I Love Lucy convention, and I put Lucy bus hijinks. I put they somehow got it to flood and smoke, like be on fire and have a flood. It's just
they're all dressed like Lucy, and acting like Lucy.
Myself if I was I would unalive myself if I were Cuba
as soon as like they do anything, they're like,
yeah, everybody's whining, but they're like every time they try to fix a problem, there's a new problem. Like it's I Love Lucy. Yes. But it's not one, it's like 75.
There's a lot of Lucys on this one.
So next up, the helicopter chase has ended. Nick comes clean with Tracy that they're in a race. He needs to get going, and so but he offers to, like, if she helps him, like, they'll split the money.
Yeah, and she's like, all right, I'm in.
Yep, because she just broke a whole bunch of laws. Anyway,
she lost her pilot license because the police were chasing them there for a bit. So
they're gonna find that helicopter. Yep. She ran from the scene too. I can't imagine there wouldn't be legal consequences. They know who their pilots are. Yes. So then we cut back to John Lovitz and his kids playing Hitler's harmonica in the back. The daughter has...
And he's like, I'm not... He's like, putting your mouth on it. And he's like, you're driving Hitler's car. I'm not sucking on the dash.
He's like, quit using Hitler's harmonica. We don't use them. You're using his car.
The little girl found sunglasses.
She's like, ooh, I'm a movie star. Like Ava Braun's like sunglasses. And then the wife opens up the glove compartment. There's lipstick. Ooh, it's dark. Ooh, that Ava Braun had style.
Yeah, she's putting it on. She's like, why are you doing this?
Have us a kiss.
So then, like, he gets it on his finger.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, get out of here.
Yeah, and he ends up wiping it on the steering wheel.
Yeah, wipes it on the steering wheel and keeps going. Okay. So Mr. Bean now is with the guy who hit him, like Shelley said. And I put Wayne Knight as I was just getting it. Transporting a human heart, and they take it out of the baggie while driving for some reason.
Yeah. So Wayne Knight's like, you want to see it?
Yeah,
he's very curious about his job here. He's very proud to be driving this organ.
But it seems like it's his first time.
Yeah, it's definitely like his first time. He was like, it was supposed to go on a plane, but the airport was grounded.
So he's now used to flying it, probably not even having it on his person.
He's called up to the big show.
Yeah, he's. If you've seen our Bull Durham, go back and watch if you haven't.
So this is time to shine. But he's showing off now for Enrico, and so they're checking out this heart majorily, and it's fingering it up.
Yeah. I can't imagine this thing would be fit to put in a human body.
Yeah. Nope. And then they drop it.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Yep.
I hope you were not the recipient of this heart because
you're not going to be doing well. So we cut to Nick, who's out of gas, and they decide to siphon gas from a cop who's parked like with a speed trap. Yeah. Yeah. And so then finally the brothers, Dwayne and Blaine, are chasing the other guy, the guy who stole their key.
Yeah, they realize
they zoom right past the cop, so the cop takes off after them, but he runs out of gas.
Yeah,
so he doesn't have to.
It.
Yeah. I put Key Guy's in a hot air balloon at this point.
So they're chasing after the Key Guy. He ends up in a hot air balloon. They go to a hot air balloon festival. He ties one on. They're going through a cow
That's not what I think of speed.
Yeah. But it's a way out,
I guess.
I feel like you should have stayed in the car.
Yeah, and they're hanging on to the hot air balloon, trying to catch him. They keep hitting cows.
Yeah, Mom's laughing hysterically again.
I did note, though, just for reference, there were no animals harmed in this movie. They had trainers on set the whole time, so there was that note. Okay, the brothers put the car on cruise control, and there's no one driving. The one brother uses the cow to squirt milk into the guy to get the key back into his eyes. Like it's like it's neat. It's like acid or something. Yeah. It's like, so the flying cow then drops from the hot air balloon and hits the Lucy bus. Mm-hmm. So Cuba Gooding Jr.'s bus, and as there's a transgender Lucy who's asking for a pit stop, and Cuba refuses to stop.
Like, just go back. It's nothing the other Lucys haven't seen.
She's like, I think it is, and because he's like, well, that door doesn't latch back there. Yeah. Anybody could just walk in. Yeah.
So they're arguing now.
And my note here is just the Lucys are awful.
Oh my gosh,
it was so annoying. I was like, oh, this is terrible.
Yeah, they're all awful.
Yeah.
And like if you watch the credits at the end, they're credited as like Lucy.
Yeah.
And then like descriptive like old Lucy, Asian Lucy,
Fire Lucy.
Lucy. Like it's like this is your credit in this movie to be this terrible character. Because I love Lucille Ball. But when you're put with like 80 in a room, that's too many.
I mean, yes, that was supposed to be a heightened version of her.
Yeah, that's a character.
A dramatic version. I'm sure Lucille Ball is not
so many hijinks are happening.
Okay, so we cut back. They're still playing with the heart.
Yes.
And then a dog steals the heart because it falls out the window then at this point. And
so they go whoops and it flies out the window. So they pull over to look for it. A desert dog appears, finds it, and goes running. No, he brings it over to Enrico, and Enrico goes, fetch, and like throws it, and the dog chases after it. So now, again,
right, I forgot about that. Yeah, he found it, and then he threw it like a dummy.
Did they get it back here then, too?
Yeah.
And it's got a hole in it, and they're like, this isn't
bite marks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because we'll get to that point.
Okay, so that didn't... They cut away again.
Yeah, they cut away again.
Cutaways.
John Lovitz burns his middle finger on the cigarette lighter.
So he's sucking on a particular finger. Offensive finger.
He's like holding it up.
Next to him.
Yeah.
Out the window. Yeah. And who's next to him but some biker babe.
Yeah. I'm like, oh.
With her whole fleet of bikers behind her. Uh-huh. So she sees him flipping her off.
And they're in a Nazi car. It's a Mercedes-Benz convertible.
There's little Nazi flags.
And they don't have a roof or like
it's a convertible.
It's a convertible, so like they're just chained.
And they're trying to explain like, oh no, we weren't flipping you off, but she's not getting the memo.
Yeah, because then the wife starts going, oh no, he's just doing it. You're not helping.
Yeah, so
all she's seeing is this.
Yeah, so she whistles to the other bikers and they surround them.
Yeah. So okay, now we get back to the desert with Mr. Bean. Oh wait, no, we don't. I'm sorry, I went back up.
Yeah, we skipped.
Okay. Oh yeah. So they crashed the car finally because of the biker gang at a World War II convention.
They just charged
a veterans convention
to the stage.
A veterans convention.
Yeah, like Pearl Harbor veterans. I think it was. Didn't specify.
It didn't specify.
It didn't. It was just World War II. So it's a crowd full of veterans.
These older gentlemen. Yeah.
As they crashed. John Lovitz hits his face on the steering wheel where the lipstick was. So now he's got a dark mark here, as you can imagine. And he bit his tongue?
No, I think the cigarette lighter went in his mouth.
Oh, yeah, it did go in his mouth at one point.
It
burned his tongue.
Yeah.
He's just rambling.
But his wife goes, well, go up and tell them what happened. Explain everything that happened.
So he runs up to the microphone on the stage.
And he's making these wild gestures.
And he sounds
like German. Angry German. And he's gesturing.
With his little mustache.
And gesturing in such a manner.
And they're all horrified.
The one guy tries to shoot him.
Yeah, he whips out a gun. It's like, yes, there's the veterans that we know and love.
Second side bet at this point.
Oh, yes. So we go back to Vegas now to see the gamblers.
A call girl that comes up to the room, and Harry is...
He's the right-hand man of John Cleese's character. Well, I forget his name now.
I don't know. It's Harold something or other, but they call him Harry. And, he's talking, and he's got this really outlandish, stunt that he wants this call girl to do with him in this... in this hotel room. Mm-hmm. And then when they ask the price, she says, how much would something like that cost? It was real convoluted and, weird and gross.
Yeah.
And
for something like that.
$3,000. And then John Cleese pops out. Who said $3,000?
And they all just emerge from behind the curtains and
behind
stuff. And they're like, I had $3,000. So that was one of their beds. So he's not really wanting to do these things.
It was the second side bet. They were all concealed in the room. This is when Mr. Bean gets the heart back from the dog.
Okay.
And then they notice that there's all these bite marks on it. Yeah. And Wayne Knight gets the idea that they could kill a drifter and blame it on him. And then he notices that Mr. Bean's with him.
Yeah, and he says, like, oh, do you have any family? No, I'm all alone.
What about in Italy and in Napoli? Oh, no. My papa, he dead. You know, my mama, she's dead.
Yeah. So it's just me.
And then he's I'm just all there. Alone.
Yeah.
And then
Mr. Bean looks at him like, oh, I can get your heart.
And Rico finally realizes that, he's like
This is my favorite line of his. Oh, look, a drifter.
A drifter.
He turns his head and he goes running off.
But then Wayne Knight grabs his electric fence and the heart starts beating.
Yes. So we didn't mention too, Enrico jumps onto a train that happens to be going by.
Yeah,
so
like
he escapes
really fast. Yeah.
It looked like he got hit by the train, but nope, he's sitting on the train in another scene then shortly. So so he escapes.
Yes. So we cut back to Nick and Tracy. Their carburetor's busted, and they're getting kind of, the guys at the garage is saying that they need this part and they can't get it in.
They're giving her the runaround. She knows what she's talking about with cars.
She's like, no, you just need some sand and this. And he's like, well, we got that, but we don't have any sand. She's like, we're in the desert.
So they're able to patch it then.
Which we'll get there. We cut to Whoopi and daughter who show up at a land speed record attempt for this rocket type vehicle.
It's a rocket car.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're testing it today in the desert because you need a wide open stretch. Yep. So they're there. They've escaped the squirrel lady's trap here, and so
But they're on foot. Yeah.
So they see this car, and they're like, "Oh, we can take this car." So they walk up to it as if they're the models,
because there's an audience.
Yeah, the driver is presenting it like, "This is our research. This is our data. We're going forward, trying to beat this record," and they're talking about it. And so they're walking through. But they're all torn apart. They've been wandering through the desert.
They look rough. But they're still just like.
So they climb into this car. And people are asking questions then what are you trying to do to
how much is the record
now? And so they're answering questions, and then Whoopi goes, how do you start it?
Yeah. And the guy goes, oh, there's a little lever over that. And
so they start it
and they go. Yeah. And they are zooming.
Oh my gosh, yes. So they're trying what it was the sound barrier?
They broke the sound barrier.
That's what they were trying to break?
I don't know if that's what they were trying to do, but they
mentioned it, but I don't remember what.
Yeah, they steal it and break the sound barrier.
They break all these other records, too.
So then we cut back to Nick and Tracy, who are at the garage that are being swindled. And they're being overcharged. The guy's like, this will be $200. And she's like, no way. That's $20 tops, And he's like, no, well, you don't like the way I do my business? God doesn't like the way I do my business. Because she calls he's unchristian.
Yes.
And he's like, well, God doesn't like the way I do my business? Let him say something. And then at that point, Whoopi and her daughter zoom past, and it shakes the structure so much that the entire garage just tumbles
falls over.
So then they finally land the shuttle thing. The car.
It comes to a stop.
Yeah, and they get out, but they're so disoriented. They're stumbling all around.
Yeah,
they're with all these mental patients who are
on a bus trip for some reason.
Yeah, just randomly walking around.
Yeah, and they're getting back on the bus now to go back.
And they're disoriented from
their mental facility.
Yes. John Lovitz finally comes clean to his family and at a diner, and his wife thinks it's stupid to go for this, which I don't get that, because I'd be like, that's $2 million.
Yeah, and we're already halfway there. Let's
try to do it. So he then goes up to pay, and he sees there's sleeping pills for sale, and he goes and he gives everybody a milkshake laced with the sleeping pill. I don't want to do a pause.
Just want to be nice to everybody.
The third side bet is now happening. We see maids hanging from curtain rods and curtains.
They're all just holding on.
Everyone
and dropping periodically.
And we find out from the trackers that everyone's within 50 miles of the prize. Mm-hmm. The Nazis show up to take the car back, and they hit. And so John Lovitz's family takes the tractor trailer. Takes a tractor trailer that lets them hitch a ride with them.
Yeah, the whole family.
But
and they're
all
asleep
the
now.
kids, he's like, they gonna be all right? And he's like, oh yeah, they're fine. The brothers pull up next to girls in the car, in another convertible, and they're comparing piercings with each other. And then,
so the brother with the tongue piercing is driving, so he's showing.
He sees another girl with
his tongue and his ears, and she's doing it back. Yeah. And
he shows his nipple ring.
And then
she shows hers.
And
he's
driving in this.
Yeah. And they crash onto a monster truck racetrack somehow.
Yeah, somehow they veered into this monster truck.
And
they're at the end of a long line
where there's going to be like a monster truck jumping
other
over
cars. Them. So these are not good cars, but they are right at the end.
Yes. So, So they're going to steal a monster truck then somehow.
Yeah. So they quickly escape their car.
Because there was like, there were 2 guys in there, and then they went off, but they have a monster truck.
Now. Yep, they jumped into the monster truck, and they're off in that.
We cut back to Enrico on the train, Mr. Bean, with a baby and his family, and his parents are just sleeping.
Yeah.
With a stranger hanging out with their family.
Right, yeah. So
with their baby.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so Mr. Bean is next to the... I'm calling him Mr. Bean.
Yeah, I know.
Mr. Bean's next to the baby. But he's making faces, baby, trying to make
he gives the baby the key
to play
with, and the baby like drops the key. So the parents
into his like diaper area.
Yeah. So we wake up. The parents wake up to Mr. Bean like feeling around, trying to get the key,
but it looks nefarious here. So they're freaking out.
Yeah,
then, of
and
course.
they're like, "Oh, I think I feel it." Well, I've been calling John Lovitz the whole time. I thought the Lovitz family is.
I don't know what his name was.
They're starting to come to.
At that point, but I don't remember it now.
They're starting to come to. They're waking up, and then we see Cuba Gooding Jr. riding up on a horse. How did he get a horse? He was stuck with the Lucys on the side of the road. Do we know how he got the horse?
I feel like we did see it at some point. Like they were just by a farm or something.
Okay, maybe.
I think it was a quick.
Yeah.
Just.
So now they're all in a foot race to the locker. They are at Silver City. They see the building. They're all in a foot race now to the locker. Henry is waiting now. I don't know how he got there from Vegas so fast. Harry. I'm sorry. Yeah, Harry is waiting to see who gets there first. And he's there in person. And like maybe I can't remember if he was there with the maids or not. I think he was, but I was like, how did he get there so damn fast?
Know. He did get there quickly. So he's on the phone. He's like, they're walking in.
Yep. And then Mr. Bean is tossed off the train aggressively as the train goes. This is a train station.
Yes.
And he gets to the locker first.
Yeah, so
it's like Enrico's the first, and everybody's like, ah!
Yeah.
And it's like, but he falls asleep as soon
as he gets to the locker, puts the key in, he's asleep there.
So all the others show up, and they see, like, they stop because they see Enrico there, but then they realize he's sleeping, and they're all like pushing each other out of the way to get into the locker. Well, they open the locker, and it's empty.
Brothers do, don't they?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they were the ones that got there, shoved their way in there first, and open it, and it's empty.
And here we cut to the call girls stole the money.
With Harry. They're running away together with the money.
Yep, but they're, I guess he's like, he brought her because, but he's starting to think she's just in it for the money now. So they're crushed in the convertible by the flying balloon cow. Somehow. Yes,
somehow it
Which
made
I
its
thought
way to
the
Silver
cow
City.
already was released when he hit the Lucys. I guess not.
I think it just smacked into it. It didn't crash on it.
Oh, okay.
So it,
yeah. I think you're right.
It kept on going, apparently. And ended up in Silver City.
Yes. So then they said, all right, they think it's a scratch. No one wins. And John Cleese says, no, we're going into extra innings. They all take a private jet to Silver City, and the fourth side bet occurs at this point at who pukes first with intentional turbulence.
Yes.
And they're like, okay, it was him. And then they're like, okay, tell the pilot to level it back out.
It's so funny. It's so random. Like, because you're seeing these things happening, and you're not realizing that it's a bet until, like, it's like, okay.
It's like, yeah, okay, who has you? Because it's great, because it's just like these like things that no real person would ever be able to like afford. You know?
Yeah.
Like, it's just these things. This is just a day in the life. So it's dark now. They all stole a double-decker tour bus, which I missed how they got that. Did you see that?
It was just something in the city, like as they're.
Okay, you saw them take it.
Yeah, there's a point where they all jump on it. Yeah,
okay.
because they're running
down for a
They're
minute.
running after Harry at this point, right?
Yes, they were.
So
but then he was crushed with the cow, so I don't know.
Wasn't the money stuck to the cow?
Yes,
something?
The money was stuck to the cow.
It's in a duffel bag, so it's wrapped around the cow's leg now, and it's floating off. So they're in the bus chasing after it.
So they caught the money that's attached to the balloon, but they wind up on stage at a Smash Mouth concert before the lights come up.
Yeah, so they're all holding the money. And like, yeah, we did it. And then the lights turn on. They're like, oh, we're on a stage in front of a huge crowd that we didn't hear screaming before this.
And it's Smash Mouth.
It's Smash Mouth. So
Steve Harwell comes out.
So early 2000s. Like, this is
at the height of Smash Mouth.
Yes.
They think Smash Mouth thinks they're donating to Feed the Earth, which is like this charity concert they're doing.
Yeah, so they're trying to raise all this money, and the people who are part of the race are like, "Yeah, we got the money. We're so excited!" And like, it's this big misunderstanding that now they're giving the money.
But now they haul these kids out who are going to be benefiting from Feed the Earth. Yes.
And on the bus they had decided that they would all split the money.
Yes, yeah.
So we didn't mention that.
Yeah. So they decided, like, the girls, like, they're like the 12 disciples.
Yeah, and they're all like, oh, now we gotta give them the money.
Yeah. Seth Green doesn't want to give it up. Everybody else is giving their
everybody's throwing it in. They're like, Smash Mouth is cheering. The crowd's cheering. And Seth Green's just there holding his money.
And then I said, but Piercing Girl shows up, and she, pushes the brother to the brother with the tongue ring, decides he's going to give his. Seth Green doesn't want to give his up still, and he's like, Mama's watching from heaven. Mama, okay. So at this point, the gamblers also arrive, and Seth Green gives in his money.
Everybody's cheering.
But Nick notices that the gamblers are there, and he announces that John Cleese and partners will match whatever is raised.
He's like, those great people over there.
They're the reason we're all here.
And so they're going to match it, whatever everybody raises. So then all of a sudden, people are calling in. And all the gamblers are like,
and then Smash Mouth sings All Star.
Of course, you have to end it with All Star.
And John Lovitz is playing the harmonica.
I
put Hitler's question mark.
I'm pretty sure it was Hitler's harmonica he was playing.
And they just start crowd surfing.
Yeah, everybody jumps into the crowd. Again, very early 2000s ending. And that's where it ends.
That's the movie.
There's no resolution.
They just all wasted the whole day and lost jobs and lost
and
alienated relationships and
And here we are.
Yeah. But the kids get to eat, so I guess that's good. The only cameo that I really had in this, like aside from like the famous people are like that we already named, was the rental car trainee. When they're getting the rental cars, there's a trainee, so it's going super slow.
This. Wait, I read this too. Yeah. No, I don't remember. Say it.
Well, anyways, he's going super slow. He's like, well, offer them the insurance. Would you like the insurance?
It's like taking forever, and they're like,
It's the guy from the Pretty Fly for a White Guy.
Yes! Yes. I love it.
Yeah. So this is a very of its time movie. A lot of gags in this I don't think would go today.
Oh no.
Absolutely. It's not PC at all.
No. But it's
If
you go in with the right frame of mind.
Yeah. If you're not holding it to present day standards.
Yes. Yeah. It's a funny movie. There are some things that should be cut out now. Yeah. But overall it's cute. Yeah. It's funny.
Yeah.
It is cheesier than I remembered. Yeah. Like there's more cheese, but there were some good lines.
And like I said, the side bets to me carried this movie.
John Lovitz is what carried it for me. Every moment of his family, I just was cracking up so much. It was so funny.
So we saw this in theater, so there will be no squirrel
The only squirrels were Kathy Bates.
The only one for those who haven't seen our other videos for our summer of movies, if we watched a movie at home, we were directly in front of our glass sliding door where there was a wooded area, and if a movie was too boring or too awkward, we would be watching squirrels. So like the higher the squirrels, the worse the movie.
Yes, so we can't give this one squirrel rating.
But there were squirrels in it.
Yes.
But no,
we loved this
is a
at
great
the time.
Like,
this was perfect for our age bracket too.
Absolutely.
Like early teenage years. Like this is funny. Like me as a preteen, this was hilarious.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
I definitely because it's just risque enough for like
it's not awkward. But it's because it hints at things. That's not right in your face.
It was funny.
It's no Bull Durham.
That's no Bull Durham. Seeing that in a theater, I mean, at least it would be dark and I could go like this.
Yes. But I like this movie. I give it 2 thumbs up.
Yeah. It's 2. It's a little cheesy, but it's funny. It's a good
and even
rewatch.
With the stuff that would be removed now, it's a product of its time.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
give it a watch. Let us know what you think.
Yep, these are our opinions. Let us know if you agree. If you don't, we'd love to hear that too, and why.
If your sense of humor matches ours or not.
But thank you for following us with another Movie Monday. Please follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Sisters and Ebert. Mm-hmm. And please like, subscribe, and comment on our YouTube channel, Sisters and Ebert. And we look forward to seeing you again next Monday. We'll see you at the movies.